Confession incoming, and not just mine either, because if I asked you to list every single platform that you should be on right now, you'd probably need a stiff drink and a lie down. Am I right? Because I know the content advice out there is basically post more, show up more, engage more. And I'm like, oh, with what time? And my nervous system is just not able for that anymore, right? And yeah, I maybe did it when I was in month one of my business. But after that, between client delivery and all the other different hats, it's just not possible. And here's the thing that I've learned is that most entrepreneurs don't have a content problem. They have a sustainability problem. And that's why today's episode is going to help with that, because we're talking about YouTube, not as another place to post, but as the place where you build assets that keep working when you're not. I'm Deirdre Martin, and you're listening to the Master Your Business podcast. And today I'm joined by Auret at Esselen and Tolentino, YouTube for Business Strategists and co-founders of Essetino Media. They help experts and thought leaders turn YouTube into a trust-building engine that attracts clients and amplifies authority. And folks, oh my gosh, these two don't just teach it, they've actually lived it. Their own channel has generated multiple six figures, and their team manages a portfolio of 7- and 8-figure brands. Plus, they've got a signature framework, the antiviral strategy, cool name, right? And that turns YouTube from a content platform into a legacy building, revenue generating asset. In today's conversation, we're going to go straight for the meaty bits. Why YouTube first beats social first when you want buyers, not browsers. How one video can become an entire content system. So I'm talking shorts, emails, captions, even podcast audio. Watch this space. How to pick topics that pull in the right people without chasing views for ego's sake. And the truth is, if you want trust at scale, video actually does a serious amount of the heavy lifting. So by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly how to build a YouTube strategy that supports your business without turning you into a frickin' content hamster wheel. All right, let's go. Oh my gosh, Auret, Jill, it's so great to see you again. Welcome to the Master Your Business podcast.
Thanks so much, Deirdre.
Thanks for having us.
I'm like, you guys, I feel like you're half Irish because we have been talking so much about Ireland and you have these Irish connections. And it was so amazing meeting you both in Vancouver. I'm so happy we've stayed in touch. And I'm super excited to talk to you today about all things YouTube. So to begin with, let's just start with YouTube first strategy. I'm just going straight for the meat. Why go YouTube first strategy?
Yeah, let's go. So with YouTube, you have many different assets in a particular video, especially if you're spending time on thinking about what is the strategy around my channel? What do I want my channel to do for you? And we have a very specific framework where we take people through the strategy piece. And that is really, how is it aligning with your business goals? How is it attracting the person that you want to attract? And what actions are you calling them to take? And so when you infuse all of those things into your content strategy on YouTube, you have gold assets. So you have the full video. You can extract shorter clips from the video, which are highlights or one-liners or, quick things, quick tips, that sort of things, which you can use as Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts.
And even on Facebook as well, or even on
TikTok. On LinkedIn too.
Yeah.
Video is doing really well on LinkedIn as well. And then you also have the transcript, which you can, again, extract different material for captions on all of the different platforms. What we do as well is we write up an email that goes out to our list telling people to go watch the video. So again, we're using the transcript for that, right? We're basically teasing what's in the video and telling people to go to watch it. And we also take that and put it on Substack. So it's really, like this infinite content system that you can create from YouTube.
And another thing with YouTube is out of all the social media platforms, YouTube is the one that lasts the longest in the quote unquote algorithms that we are all playing, right? So when you do a Instagram story that's 24 hours, when you do an Instagram post maybe a couple of days. A Facebook post, same thing. But with a YouTube video, it's the only one that can literally last for years and years, depending on what the subject is, what the topic is. But I haven't found that on any of the other social media platforms. So that's why YouTube is number one top priority in creating content for that platform for our business.
I just remember podcasts too. Forgot to mention podcasts. You can extract the audio as well from the video. Use as podcasts, create audiograms for Instagram. So yeah, there's lots you can do.
There is so much you can do. I didn't realize you could do half of that stuff on YouTube. And like where my brain instantly goes is, and I'm just emanating clients, oh, but Deirdre, I don't want to do videos. I don't want to do that stuff. So what do you say to people who are thinking that, or their brains are sabotaging their YouTube success because they're going, fuck no, video?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is a lot of people trip themselves up over like the way that it looks, the way the video looks. That's just, I mean, that's one piece of it. I know a lot of people don't like to watch themselves on videos too, right? Like I don't go back. I'm a YouTuber and I teach YouTube, but I do not go back and watch my videos.
Can I
And
just say I record podcast episodes, and I think if we're on episode 159, I think this
yeah,
is. I don't think I've listened to any more than one of these episodes back. So that's a
there you
thing.
go. There you go. But they're helping people, right? Like you, and we see that too, like with our videos. Like I used to trip up so much about making sure that I communicate properly on video and am I saying things correctly in the right way? Does everything look okay? But at the end of the day, when you've done this over and over again, you'll start to see none of that matters. You know, people will leave you comments, will love the video, they'll say how much you've helped them. And I mean, especially because I'm assuming most of you aren't like teaching videography or anything like that, where people care about the quality and the way that it looks in like polished vlogs and stuff. Most of us are educational content creators, right? So we love to share our expertise. And for that, it's more about, you know, you just sharing your wisdom and showing up to do that, using YouTube as a vehicle to practice that over and over again.
And I would say, you know, why video, even though you're so scared and all that kind of stuff, if you're an entrepreneur and you have a business, you need to be on video because I mean, do you trust someone when you only hear them or when you see and hear them, right? Or if you only see text from them, it's just an instant trust factor. We've seen it so many times where, you know, people will watch our content. We have no idea who they are, but they get on a call with us or they meet us in person at an event and they already feel like they know, like, and trust us. And I have no idea who they are. And I haven't actually physically met them. So videos can do the selling for you. You know, I assume that we all have products and services that we're wanting to sell, get leads, and all that kind of stuff. And video is one of the top ways to do that. And yes, it's scary. Yes, you'll be bad in the beginning. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, there will be people that will make fun of you, but it's part of the game. We just have to know you're in the entrepreneurial game. You're in the we got to make money and sell our services game. So this is one of those pieces that I feel is required for an entrepreneur in a business.
That makes so much sense, all of that. And I'm so coming around to the idea of YouTube first after talking to the two of you. And I think that's definitely going to form part of my strategy in 2026. This is December, by the way, folks, if you're listening when we record this, December 2025, and watch out for YouTube first strategy for me. And we're only a few minutes into the conversation. But tell me, in terms of content, right? So I'm going to assume, rightly or wrongly, that most people listening are creating some form of content right now, that they're out there in some way. For videos, where do you start with the topics and content strategy for YouTube?
Mhm. So it really comes down to what do you want the channel to do for you? Do you want to get leads from it? Do you want people to subscribe to your email list? Do you want to sell a particular product? I'll just use an example. Most of the clients that we work with, they have some sort of program or offer that they want to lead people to, but that offer might be quite like a high ticket program. So what we end up doing is, I mean, it's not to say that you can't sell high ticket directly from a YouTube video. It's happened. We had a client who she had less than 100 views on her video, less than 1,000 subscribers at the time, but she sold a $10,000 product into her mentorship program. They watched the video and just enrolled right away. And it wasn't even a hard selling promo video either. It was just her sharing her knowledge with a casual call to action to check it out. So when it comes to what's the point of you creating these videos and of your channel, that's when we start to look at like reverse engineering that. Okay, so what types of topics can we speak to that will attract the right person that you want for that offer? And you got to know that it's not about, getting tons of views or attracting a broad audience. Success isn't measured by tons of views. It's measured by how close you are to your goal. Are you selling that product that you wanted to sell? Right. And that's why we always say, like, don't pay attention to the number of views on your video. It's the right viewers that you want. So once you have a content strategy that aligns with attracting that person, and typically that looks like, you can create content around your IP, your frameworks, you teaching the thought topics in your area, the frequently asked questions that your ideal person would be asking, even sharing your thought leadership and speaking to different industry news or certain things that are going on in your space that you have thoughts on and people want to hear those thoughts. So those are a couple of ideas.
Yeah, and let's say you have a book, you're an author. I would do a video on each chapter that you have in your book. And Auret already mentioned this, but frequently asked questions, because that is not only, okay, people are frequently asking these questions, but you can actually send the video to your potential lead or client that is asking that question. So you don't have to repeatedly answer the same frequently asked questions. That's what we do, is like whenever we had a question from a client, like that was always coming in at the same time, we would create a video on it and then send that to our potential lead. And the video would do the selling for us. We wouldn't have to type out the same thing or even say the same thing. We're like, just watch this video. And it's a way to duplicate yourself. So that I would say is one that I would start off first, is what are the frequently asked questions that you get, and create those as separate videos.
Yeah.
Don't put them all in one, because I know a lot of people like to bunch up everything. We love creating very segmented videos that address one question or one topic.
Yeah. And when you think about it, YouTube is a search engine. So you got to think of it from the space of what would my ideal person be typing into the search, that this video would be a perfect fit in answering that question. Because the way that they would ask the question or the way that they would search for the topic might be different than the way that you're communicating it. And so it's important to think of the language that they use. And, someone might say, well, there's already tons of videos out there answering the question, how do I stand out? And the fact of the matter is that just by you being yourself in the video, that does make the content different, because you're going to explain things differently and you're going to bring different experiences, different stories to that video. So that's going to make it different. And at the same time, you can also package the video in a way. When I say package, I'm referring to like the thumbnail and the title mainly. You can state outright in the title or the thumbnail who that video is for. So if a ton of people in your space, let's say you're a life coach, for example, and if a ton of people in your space are talking about like how to balance your work life and your personal life, right? Let's say that's a hot question in your space, but you specifically work with, let's say, 7-figure business owners or with people in the wellness industry or what have you. Mention that in the title, how to balance work life or your business life with your personal life for wellness industry business owners or something like that, So that way, immediately you're standing out and you're not worried about the fact that you're going to get less views on that video, because it'll be the right person watching that video for you.
Oh, there's loads in that and so many takeaways. I'm like, okay, where do we go back to start with this? So with the content, then, we now know how to find the topics. How deep do you go? So, to your point, Jewel, if somebody has written a book, and let's assume there's 20 chapters in a book, like, do they give away everything that's in the book and all the things that they do beyond? Like, how deep do you go, or do you need to go on YouTube?
So that's a good question because a lot of people who sell products and services, they're like, well, I don't want to give the gold away because I want them to pay for the gold, right? Here's the thing. The more you give, the more people will want to buy because if you hold everything, you hold all the information, and I don't want to tell it, then people don't actually even know your brilliance and they don't actually know that you are the one to solve the problem. A really good example of this is Alex Hermosi. Most people know Alex Hermosi. He holds nothing back and he just goes all in. And what happens when he offers something, when he has a book or, you want to apply to work with him, everybody wants to work with him. And
He breaks the internet.
he does nothing but give. Same with Gary Vee. If you just look at all the people in the space, they do nothing but give in detail, in great detail. And like there are people that will never work with Alex Hermosi, but will become so successful just off of his, $30 book or all the free stuff he gives away. He talks about the law of reciprocity a lot. So he's like, the more that you give, the more that people feel the need to reciprocate and want to pay for services. And a lot of them will think, if he's giving this much for free, imagine if I bought the book or if I hired him or, all that kind of stuff. And the same goes for you as well. We hold nothing back in our YouTube video. Like I will tell you all the tactics in the videos. They are all in different order, but if you want, like one-on-one guidance or you want us to do it for you, then that's when you would pay to hire us. And a lot of our how-to tutorials are telling the person exactly this is how you do it. And then at the end, we'll say something like, oh, well, if you want to work with us directly, here's our offer, right? And head down to the description below. And there are people that will still want to do that, even though I've literally just told them exactly how to do the thing that they're paying me to get a session with, basically. So don't hold all your eggs in one basket. Don't hold the goal. The more gold that you spread out, honestly, like that's when people want to pay and want to work with you.
I think too, just to add to that, we're moving away from we're past an era of paying for information because with ChatGPT, with AI and everything, people can find out a lot just by typing into AI, right? So it's not about the information and holding back the information. They'll go to someone else and get that information or ChatGPT, right? It's about you showing up and sharing your knowledge also, but your experiences, your stories, like that is the piece that can be replicated that AI doesn't necessarily know, right? They can't make things up like that. And people will end up working with you, not for the information, but because of, maybe you're providing a service. They need the accountability. They want the one-on-one
energy,
guidance.
your personality. They
The
like the way
community.
you explain something.
Yeah.
Because AI is going to wipe off courses and all that kind of stuff. You can find everything online now, but it's like, I want to work with you because I really like your energy, your personality, your group, your container. Like that's the stuff that's going to be more important now.
Yes, 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 yes to all of that. That's all I can say. I totally agree. And I haven't been a StoryBrand certified coach for the last 4 years. We're taught the same in StoryBrand, but you can go and read the book, Building a StoryBrand, and it tells you how to do it, right? But I still went and paid thousands and pay thousands to remain certified and to have access to the training and all of the things because it's the proximity as well, right? Which is another psychological thing. So yeah, it makes total sense. Give away the family farm, folks. And the example, I talk about this all the time too. So I'm so glad to hear you're on the same side of the fence as me with this. But it's like, I blow dry my own hair every day. But when I'm going to a wedding or to an event, I will go to the salon to get my hair blow dried because it's just that bit better than I can do myself. And the other thing is, and I say this with copy and creation and service providers, because when I asked a client for feedback one time, This is what she said to me. A fabulous Canadian lady, by the way. I asked her, why did she hire me to help her with her story? And she said, because when you're on the inside of the label, you can't see what's on the outside of the jar.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's a good
ooh, I'm gonna share that a lot.
Yeah,
And
that
I
is
do. Yeah.
that one, and that's so true. So, so true.
Right. Okay, so let's talk really practical stuff now in terms of, okay, I have my topic. I'm going all in on YouTube. What do I need next? Is it the tech? Do I need scripts? Do I need, fancy microphones? And you mentioned about titles, thumbnails. Tell us all of the things that we need, start to finish. Let's go.
I'll
the
touch upon
piece.
the scripts or no scripts. I
Go for it.
actually did a YouTube video on this, and it's a topic that people always ask about. Should I write a script? Should I not write a script?
Yeah.
And it's the video's titled "To Script or Not to Script," like Shakespeare, right? And the answer is there is no right answer. It really depends on the person, because there are some people who will get a script and they look like a deer in the headlights and it's not working for them, and they work best with bullet points and they free flow. And then there's the other way around, where a person doesn't have a script and they're just going all over the place and they can't get their thoughts straight. And it's just like, oh, I'm going with that. We need a beginning, middle, and end here. So there's no right or wrong answer. It's what works for you. And I would suggest that you try it out. I tried out scripts. They do not work for me. I cannot do scripts for the life of me. I come off too robotic. I need the free flow of, the speaking and all that kind of stuff. So I prefer no scripts, but we have clients that do very well with scripts and they look like they're not even scripting, but they're reading every single word on the teleprompter. So I would say do scripts if you can make it seem like you're not doing scripts. And if not, then I would do bullet points and do a free flow. And yes, it's a muscle that you need to work to be able to speak coherently. So that's my take on scripts.
Yeah.
To
There's
script or not to script? You heard it here first.
yes.
Definitely.
Sometimes scripts for people, it like contains them too much and they're not able to actually be in the moment and show their personality. And well, we've had clients like that too. So we've like taken them off scripts because they thought they have to do it. We're like, no, bullet points, or even we'll prompt you with questions, and it's so much better. It's the content comes so much better. And yeah, so you need to experiment. That's kind of the first step after you know the content themes and everything, is the planning, right? And we always talk about batching these different steps. So batch planning your videos, then batch filming your videos, then editing them. If you're not editing them, pass them off to someone who will. And then the scheduling piece is where the thumbnails and the metadata, meaning like the title, the description, all that kind of stuff, comes into play when you go to schedule your videos. So those are kind of the 4 categories of steps. And for me, in terms of when I say batching, we always recommend doing more than one video at a time, because the name of the game on YouTube is to stay ahead. It's a long game. You got to stay ideally 5 steps ahead of yourself, but as many steps ahead as you can, so that you're never at a point where you've run out of videos, because life happens. Things come up where we're not able to get it done, right?
Here's a practical step I have for the listeners is, if you've heard all this and you're like, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel, get to your first 5 videos in batches. So like Auret said, get your scripts or no script bullet points, right? And then you film the 5 videos and then you have the 5 videos edited. Get all that done first before you launch and release your videos. Because what happens is people go, okay, cool, I'm ready to start YouTube. Here we go. And they'll film a video, record it, edit it, and then do the thumbnail and SEO and then release it. And that was so much work for them. And then the next week they got to go and do it again and again and again. And it's the hamster wheel. And you're not able to get ahead because you've just done everything in sequential order. Yes. But when you batch everything, it actually saves you time, because you'll have 5 videos ready to go already scheduled if you do the batch processing, and then you can go back and then start again. And the reason why we say 5 videos is because depending on the month, there's 4 to 5 weeks in a month. So that'll take care of either a month and a week or a month itself. And that gives the person typically enough time that isn't like, just like trying to catch up and you're just tired. And that's how people end up stopping YouTube and giving up on YouTube because they're like, oh my God, I couldn't keep up with it every week. And it's like, yeah, because it's not sustainable if you do it that way every week. We only record once every month or once every 2 months, depending on how many videos we record in that batch session. And right now, at the time of recording this video, we are a month ahead on our YouTube channels. And so it just gives you a better peace of mind because things come up. You get sick. You're not feeling it. You got to travel. You just don't feel like filming videos. And then being plenty of times like that, but you are still ahead because once you miss that first week and then the second week and you're like, oh, I missed already a month. There's no point. It's done. And then years go by and you're like, I started, but then I couldn't keep up. And so that's really like the thing that people struggle with the most is like staying in the game of YouTube.
I totally hear that. And I do the same with my podcast, by the way. So I batch record them and we tend to do 3 at a time. And so I do guest podcasts and I try to get 3 guests lined up for the same day. And then I do a separate day with 3 solo episodes. So it takes 2 full days nearly between all of the editing and all of the stuff, which is a lot because it comes out weekly. And we try to stay 6 weeks ahead. But I can tell you, there have been times where we've been just 1 week and then there's a scramble to catch up again. And it is hard. So I totally relate to that advice. And it's really, really smart advice. So definitely, folks, if you're thinking about starting a podcast or YouTube, heed this one because it's really valuable. Okay, so there's something else popped into my brain I wanted to ask you about this piece as well, which was in terms of planning and actually guest posting with YouTube. What's that like? So if somebody decides, okay, script, no script, topic, all of the rest, and then what about guests on YouTube and video for that?
Yeah. So you're talking maybe like in a guest interview format, correct? So we used to do a lot of these. We actually used to do them as lives on our channel. So we would live stream a guest interview. The reason why we chose to do it is because it creates more of like a community aspect where you have people in the audience asking questions and that sort of thing. So we made it into an experience.
Do you
But
do it live?
We did.
Yeah,
we used to do it live. Yeah. And yeah, so
That was a whole nother game.
yes, that's like next level. But I was just going to say, you don't have to do that. You can set a specific day, like just like Deirdre is, where you're inviting your guests to record. And I feel like sometimes, depending on the guest, that makes them more comfortable too, because if they're not used to video, then, they might slip up or what have you. And it's easier to just cut those pieces out and you can reassure them that, that will be done. So you would film it. And then when it goes to, depending on whether you have an editor or not, again, you could do like a 1 take too. It really just depends. If you guys are both just on it, you don't have to do much editing at all. But when you go to upload that video, always make sure that again, I'm referring to the packaging. So the title and the thumbnail is leading with the topic of what you were talking about in the interview and is not something like episode 17, life coaching
Interview
with John Smith. Yeah, exactly. Like that. Right. Which we do see a lot of
on YouTube. It is when people put their podcasts on YouTube, they'll typically title it like a file name and it's totally different for YouTube. And, guest interviewing can be great. There's pros and cons to it for sure. I noticed that people, they want to do guest interviews in hopes of putting them as the go-to expert. But when you have a guest person, that's highlighting the guest. So you need to understand that first, that you're highlighting the guest's services, the guest's book or whatever that they have. And so like what you do, where you, where you film a solo podcast, that's what I would suggest people do as well. If you have a mainly podcast type show, is that you do solo videos as well to showcase your expertise and talent. Because when you watch the podcasts where it's the main host and the guest, it's like, it's all about the guest. And so just understanding that, because a lot of podcasters don't understand that. They're like, oh, well, I'm trying to sell my service, but they just constantly only have guests. And they're like, well, I'm trying to sell my service of XYZ. And I'm like, well, we're only hearing the guest. We're not really hearing you and your expertise. So that's something to think about when you're doing a guest type show. The way that we utilized guest appearances is if the guest really had something that our audience would love to know about, that's how we utilize it. Also, it's a great rapport with the actual guest as well,
Yes.
because you're showcasing them, and it's a great way to do collaborations. And with YouTube lately, they released a new feature where you can actually do a collaborate feature where the one video shows up on both channels and you both share the views. There's one person that mainly owns the video, but you can actually share the analytics and share the views. Not sure if you share the monetization part, if your channels are monetized, but that's so cool because what people had to do in the past was upload it on both separate channels, but now they are realizing that, oh, there's a lot of people doing collaborations. And so you can actually have the video show up on both channels at the same time, which is really cool. So we haven't tried it yet, but I'm super excited to try that out.
So cool. And actually, I've done that on LinkedIn, right? So there's a particular software that you can use to stream live to LinkedIn. So I tried this with my podcast. So they were live, right? We recorded live and streamed live. And there's an incredible episode with Adrian Swinsko, who's like, what's he called? The punk rock of CX, customer experience. He's pretty cool. And definitely an episode worth going to watch back. And we recorded that live on LinkedIn. So both of us streamed live to our audiences at the same time on LinkedIn, which was amazing. And we just used one simple tool to be able to do that. And at the same time, we were streaming to Facebook and YouTube and everywhere. I was like, this is cool. But, because the podcast strategy that I use is where guests come on and then we start chatting, we dive straight into the conversation and later I record the intro and outro. I'm like, fuck, how am I going to do this if we go live all the time? And then some people weren't comfortable with being live. So it kind of fizzled out for me. But yeah, it's interesting to hear you chat through the fact that YouTube are now making that possible too. That's cool. Okay, so let's get back to the really strategic, boring system stuff that people need to know in terms of actually doing the recording with their topic, solo or guest, scripted or not. And then what do they need next?
Yeah. So you got to set a date with yourself that you're committing to, that, you're not going to keep pushing back and back and back, but this date is a filming date and it's with yourselves and it's a commitment. And I know how hard it is to, slot something in, especially when you don't feel like doing it. And the thing is, you'll never really feel like doing it, to be honest, unless you really, really love being on camera and filming. But I find most people, it's a heavy lifting task. But you got to reframe it in a way where it's you showing up to serve the people that you want to serve, and it's getting you a step closer to your goals as well. It's a practice as well in being you. It's a practice in you speaking. It's really, I see YouTube as like a personal growth vehicle, to be honest, because, if you go back and look at some of my first videos, which don't do that, you will see how different I am in terms of like speaking to camera. But anyways, you got to block out. I like to block out 2 hours in my calendar, 2 to 3, if I can do 3. And that's where I come prepared to that time block with my notes. I like to use bullet points. So I'll know exactly what videos I'm filming. I'll have some notes for each one. And then I just knock them out one at a time. I'll start off with the easiest one because that's a quick win. for me to just like get into the muscle of it. If you start with the hardest one, it could be, a little bit
I
like,
could be like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore.
yeah, it could be frustrating. So start with your easiest one. If you can, and you're just starting out, like purposely work in a quick, easy video into the videos that you're filming so that it's like, it's your foot in the door when you do your filming session.
They're all going to feel hard when it's your first time.
Yes.
Well,
sure.
I always say to people, like, especially with those Q&A type videos, think about like, what's your most burning question? Take a question that a potential client or a client has asked you and pretend like they're right in front of you asking that question. You've already answered it before, maybe in person, maybe in an email. You've had practice already answering that question. So when it comes to filming the video, have that question in mind. Envision the person that you're speaking to who asked you that question and pretend like they're right in front of you and just answer it. Because we don't like, when we're in person at a networking meeting, we're not like, oh, hold on, let me just go check my notes. We know our stuff. You know your stuff. So own that and just, you got to be okay with whatever comes out because you will get better over time. You'll definitely get better. It's just a muscle. It's like, we use the metaphor of like getting into the gym, putting in the reps. That's all it is over and over again.
Yeah, if you go to the gym, you do 1 rep, 1 bicep curl, and you're like, where's the muscle? And it's like, no, it's like hundreds and thousands of reps before that thing bulges out, So I always use that because then people kind of get it and they're like, right, okay, so you can't actually get muscle until you put in the reps. And yeah, you can't actually get good at doing YouTube videos until you do the reps. Like we've done thousands of videos on our YouTube channel and people always ask us like, oh, how are you able to speak so freely? It's because we forced ourselves over and over because we chose this platform. I didn't want to be on all the platforms all at once.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm choosing one that I like the most, that I can actually be on the least, because YouTube, you can show up once a week, right? And it's different. It's not as interactive as like a Facebook where you got to like comment and then go on other people and you got to do that whole thing and be like super, super active in commenting and all that. Same with Instagram. You got to do that whole commenting, follow thing that's happening on there. And I was like, I just want to put out my video, and if people see it, great. And if they don't, then that's also cool too. But that's my contribution to social media, because I know that if you have a business, if you're an entrepreneur, you do need to play that game. And so that's one of the reasons why I chose YouTube in the first place. But yeah, we kind of veered off track. I thought you were saying, but I just wanted to mention that.
Well, I think a lot of people listening will be like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And actually, yes, wouldn't it be great to just do one video and that's it? The whole thing done. You don't need to show up, because on LinkedIn, it's the same. You've got to send connection requests. You got to post content. You got to comment. You got to start conversations. And it's a lot, and it can feel like a lot. And I give people a framework to do it on LinkedIn in like 15 to 30 minutes a day. But even that, it's the reps and the reps that pay up. And I have done a video of me like doing this, like honestly. And it's like, the big joke here is that people expect to see incredible results from one workout at the gym, but no, exactly the same metaphor. I use it all the time too. So that's hilarious. Okay, so now let's talk about, okay, I'm ready to press record. What am I pressing record on? Am I using Zoom? What tools am I using? Let's talk tools.
Yeah, I know that people get caught up in the gear because they're like, oh, everybody got a DSLR and there's the colored light in the background and all this kind of stuff. And I got to have 4K, right? Here's the thing. You have to start off with what you currently have, because again, as I mentioned, it's the reps, it's the consistency. If you've never used any of this kind of gear before, and we've had this happen, like actual clients that pay us, they're like, I got all this gear, all the lights, all the microphones, but I don't know how to use it. I don't actually know how to do the setup. And there is a learning curve with that. And so I would say keep it simple. We say the term keep it simple, stupid, the KISS term. That's literally how we started, and that's how we got our reps in. And even now as we're filming on the Logitech webcam right here, the Logitech Brio webcam, because it's literally a plug and play. There's nothing to play around with the lenses or the f-stops or the lighting or anything. It does the lighting by itself. You just need to make sure that you have light coming in, and it's already like I think it films in 2K or 4K, but yeah, it already does it by itself, because when you create the barrier and resistance, then you don't get the video out. And I know this from experience because we do have a whole DSLR setup and umbrella lights and softbox lights and a boom mic. We did that whole setup, and it would just take at least an hour to set up and take down, because we used to go to an actual co-working space to film our videos. And so we would lug around all this gear and it would take over an hour. And I'm like, oh, I can't get the lens right and the color's not looking good. And then by the time you have it all set up, you're so tired that you don't even want to film the videos. And that would happen all the time. And we hear that all the time from our clients. And so I'm like, remove the barrier, right? Just film with what you have. If it's Zoom, if it's your cell phone, cell phones these days are so good. Everybody's just filming on the latest iPhone is just amazing quality for filming. And so just use what you have. And then once you've gotten comfortable with the setup that you currently have, then you can upgrade. Then you can, let's get a little bit of a nicer microphone. Oh, let's get a little bit of a better camera. Oh, let's add this light here. But do it in stages. Don't go all of a sudden, buy all this gear and you have no experience with it. It's a learning curve. There's setup involved with all this kind of stuff. And it's just setting yourself up for success with doing it this way. And trust me, we know, because we've seen it with our clients and we've gone through it ourselves. It wasn't until years after our webcam setup and our like basic microphone that we actually just ended up hiring a videographer, because it takes him like 90 minutes to 2 hours to set up everything and lug everything into the office. I made a decision and I was like, I need to just get in there and film right away. So you got to make it easy for yourself. Keep it simple, really. That's the name of the game, because again, if you can't film the video and there's a barrier, then if you don't have the video, then you don't have a YouTube channel, and then it doesn't work. So you have to remove the resistance.
2 really simple setups we could give you right now. This is my favorite: webcam with a USB plugged into my laptop, and then a USB mic. Super simple. This is the Wi-Fi.
It is, but there's so many on Amazon now that sound like amazing, that are just like cheap, plug and play, ready to go. Yeah, that's your microphone. Like, just get something that can plug in and you don't need to really tweak and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you just plug it in.
So this is why I love it, because it's just 2 USB plugins ready to go. I'm filming.
And this setup, by the way, is very travel friendly. So if you travel, you need to do videos in the hotel or whatever, we film tutorials in the hotel or wherever. The Logitech webcam is very small, compact. You can easily put it in your suitcase or backpack.
We're in front of a window right now, so we have natural light. But if you're in a closed room, just make sure you have a light source, ideally in front of you or on either side of you, just to light you up, and, start there. Like, that's one setup. The other setup, the easy setup that I could give you, is your cell phone. So again, Jewel mentioned your cell phone has pretty good camera already. You can take a tripod and the one with the little clasp that you could tack on your cell phone. And you could either do it standing, you could do it sitting. Again, you got to find where you feel most comfortable and at flow. That's the whole thing here. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Gimbal.
Yeah. So you could do that. And then for the audio, I mean, the audio it's okay. Like when you're speaking to your cell phone, especially if you're in a closed area, it can be okay to start off with. If you want,
I would. Yeah. So there's this brand that I'm obsessed with. It's called Hollyland, and it's a wireless mic, a cell phone setup, and it's so easy. I've mentioned it to so many of my entrepreneur friends, and like 5 of them have already bought it. And it's just like an easy plug and play. It is a wireless lapel thing, so it's not corded or anything. And it sounds amazing.
So good. It's just really good sound.
And it's super small. You can literally put in your pocket. I would get the one that has 2 microphones, so that if one dies out, then you have another one ready to go. And the case is like a self-charging thing. And so like you really have no excuse to film videos. And I actually love filming videos on the cell phone because you could be on the go. I love filming car videos. Like when you're in the car, there's something about it. Like I love watching people do their videos in the car as well. Or if I'm in like a really cool spot and location outside, I filmed some audio logs on the airplane and it blocked it out. Like the microphone was so good that it actually was usable audio, even though I was on an airplane.
I would say that's probably the easiest, like your cell phone and the Hollyland lapel mic and maybe a tripod. You can sit the cell phone on whatever, if you like, against something, if you don't have a tripod.
Yeah.
But that's like keep it simple,
The
right?
great advice. Yeah. And I recently just bought the DJI Osmo mics as well. So, or DJI Mic 2 or whatever it's called. So I'll share links to all the tech that Auret and Jewel are talking about here. So if anybody does want to go and buy some tech or tools or gadgets and gizmos, you'll have links for them all below. Okay, we know what we're talking about. We know the tech. We have all the things. We're just ready to hit go. We record. It's fucking amazing. And now we're ready to publish. So this is the publishing bit, right? And for me, just to share, folks, right? I'm on like, how many episodes did I say? 159, something like that, 160 something episodes now of the podcast. And we do share them to YouTube. And I've been making some of the mistakes that June and Auret mentioned earlier, where we've been putting the episode number and stuff in front. But every week when I release a podcast episode, I get dozens of emails from these YouTubers who are telling me, we can help make your YouTube channel grow and make you a shit ton of money. And I'm like, PFO. And so I'm like, okay, we're ready to hit publish. Tell us, what do people need to do so that when they hit publish, first off, that it has an impact and that it helps attract their ideal clients. So, Auret, you already mentioned calling out who it's for in the title. What else needs to go in the publishing piece?
Yeah, I will say your thumbnail and title are very important because it's what determines whether someone clicks on the video to watch it. So, when it comes to thumbnails, you can go into Canva and there's thumbnail templates in there, but I would say make sure you customize them and edit them. You don't use them as is because some of them have like really tiny text on them or like lines of text. You want to keep the text on the thumbnail to less than 5 words. Like even that is a lot. So fewer words as possible. And then you can include a photo of yourself on the thumbnail. We've been experimenting with both putting your photo on and off. You got to see what works. Like you got to be in competition with yourself. Don't look at Joe Blow over here and see what he's doing and be like, oh, he's getting this many, views. Like that might be a completely different audience. So YouTube allows you to split test up to 3 thumbnails, which is really cool. So you can test those out. But what we like to do is, put ourselves on the thumbnail because it's a personal branding thing. People recognize that in the search or wherever they stumble upon it. And then the whole thing with the thumbnail is actually 2 main things is what's the main story? Like, what's the main focal point? At a glance, when someone looks at that, do they instantly know what the video is going to be about and how it speaks to them? Like, you got to spark curiosity there. You got to call out to a specific pain point, or it could be like a desire point. And without going too in depth about it's the psychology of design, right? So the whole thing is, how are you grabbing attention right away? And I like to use a lot of contrasting colors and not too busy. You have the main focal point. And also, how are you sparking curiosity for them to click on the video? Because, ooh, yeah, I want to know more about that. Or, oh, yeah, I'm experiencing that. Or, what do you mean? Like, I should know about this. Some sort of an emotional reaction to it is what you want with the thumbnail. And then when it comes to the title, there's different ways to optimize the title. You could optimize it for search, meaning you would really optimize it around a particular keyword phrase that your people are typing into the search. And we like to use TubeBuddy when it comes to doing keyword research. And yes, sponsored by TubeBuddy. When we spoke on their YouTube channel, they had us as a guest and we got some cool swag from them. But yeah, we've been using this tool for years, like years and years. And it does many things. It's a channel optimization tool, but one of the main things we use it for is the keyword tool, because it allows us to do research on whether the video that we want to release on the channel can rank for that particular keyword, because it gives you a score on, yeah, there's a lot of search volume on this, or there's a lot of the videos that are ranking right now, they're not well optimized. So it gives you an opportunity to rank for it. There's different variables that it factors into the score that it gives you. So we find a keyword phrase that we could rank well for, and that's usually a high score in TubeBuddy. And we make sure that's in the first part of the title. And the second part of the title is your unique piece to it. How are you calling out to your person? How are you standing out? What's unique about the way that you speak about that topic? It's really like, how are you saying something different about this topic? That's what the second piece of the title is about.
Ooh. So now I'm curious, do you go script, then title, or title, then script?
Yeah. So I don't do scripts, but in terms of like planning the video, I do a little bit of both, because sometimes I'll stumble upon certain topics that rank, like they give me a good score. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally talk about that. And so it's that way. But at the same time, I'm not someone who always wants to be a slave to the algorithm and create for the algorithm. So I want to talk about different things. And I have thought leadership things on YouTube that people aren't searching for, but I want to share them. So in those cases, I'm going to, plan out my video, but I might have more of a title that is not optimized around anything, because again, people aren't searching for it, but the title's more of a hook, so that, it captures people, maybe asks a question, or it busts a myth. It makes them think differently enough to click on it and be like, oh, that's interesting.
That's more for the browse algorithm. And so we do a mixture of both. You want to mix in doing search and browse, because I love search traffic, because when someone is typing in an exact question and we have a video that answers their question, they're more likely to get connected with you and take action, versus browse, which is more of something that interrupts the person. They're like, oh, this looks cool they didn't necessarily search for it, but they're like, oh, this looks like it's entertaining to watch or exciting to watch, or whatever the reason they decide to click on it. So depending on what the topic is, we can go either way. It can be like, okay, first we're doing the keyword research, or we're coming up with the title first. So it really depends on what the video is about. And we like to mix it up.
That makes sense. I'm like, I have so many questions that I want to ask you.
I'd be like a
Okay.
5-hour.
I know. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wrap it up with an audience question, because why are we doing it? We're doing it so that we can get in front of the right audience. And like right now on YouTube, I have like 80 subscribers. I have no idea who these people are. I'm convinced that they're the people who are emailing me every week to go, hey, we can make your YouTube channel better. And I'm like, oh, damn, no. So if you're like a real YouTube subscriber, please comment under this video and let me know. So yeah, shout out to those genuine followers. But otherwise, how do you build a community on YouTube? How do you make long-term viewers stick around? Like all those types of things.
Good question.
You keep showing up.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. You keep showing up consistently. Yeah. And I'll just say one more thing, but now I'll pass it to you. The second thing is to make good content that YouTube's algorithm can easily see that people are engaging with. And again, that just comes back to create good content. The goal is to serve videos to people who actually enjoy and like watching them, and keep those people longer on the platform. So those are the two main things. I know it's oversimplified, but that's really what it comes down to.
And this is a bit of a cheesy answer that people don't want to hear, but it's like, be authentically yourself in the videos. A lot of people think that they need to inflate themselves and be a character. There are other influences out there that show that, if we're like this, then, we'll potentially be successful on YouTube. But most people can't do that. Most people, when they play a character that isn't themselves, over time, they feel empty inside and they want to like leave their YouTube channel. I've gone down the rabbit hole watching at least 50 videos of people leaving YouTube because I wanted to know why. What is going on here? Like they're super successful. The channel has blown up, millions of subscribers, or they're about to hit 5 million, 1 million, 10 million. And then they go, I'm leaving YouTube. I was so fascinated by this. And so I went on a hunt and I started watching all these videos. What is the common denominator? What is the correlation? What's going on here? And the number one thing was one, they box themselves into a niche that they didn't want to talk about every single week. And two, they don't feel like themselves anymore. They've felt like they've created this person, this character, this YouTube person that isn't them anymore, and they don't want to be that person anymore. And they literally walk away from channels that have millions of subscribers to get away completely because they like hate YouTube, or they start a brand new channel from scratch and they don't tell anyone about it because they want to do it their way and they don't really want the whole fanfare and everything. So I think it's really important to create a sustainable YouTube channel. And that's what we've done with our channel. And no, we don't have 1 million subscribers. And I don't strive for that because I don't want to lose myself in the process. And so we've done the YouTube channel the way that we feel authentically ourselves. And that's great because we don't have this channel where we're like dying because we don't feel like ourselves and we're totally inauthentic and we're only creating for the algorithm. We literally create whatever we feel like creating, and we've tailored it to fit our business. So the YouTube channel isn't like the almighty everything. It's like we use YouTube to fuel our business and we use it as a tool, where versus other people the other way around, they create it YouTube channel as like it's everything, and then it's like they don't do it the way that the algorithm wants to do it, and then they don't actually want to do it. Then that's when that whole thing happens, and then you have your video of I'm leaving YouTube, and it's like it's literally the same answer over and over again, and these people don't even know each other.
So we actually talk about an antiviral strategy a lot because we had certain videos pop off and we could have kept talking about those things, but we didn't want to. And like the channel would have grown faster. We would have had way more subscribers and views. But again, we're in the game of sustainability. Like we need to do this in a way that like we're proud of at the end of the day. And we don't feel like we're sacrificing who we are.
Yeah.
Most important. Yeah. You have to do whatever it is that you're doing in a way that feels aligned with you, or else it's just going to feel icky and hard. So
Yeah.
nobody wants that. I think we're going to need to do a session 2 because this
Yeah.
is so helpful. And we haven't even gotten to talk about monetization strategies yet, which
I
you
know.
mentioned at the start, right? So I'm going to ask 2 final questions. One is, what's one question about YouTube that people are not asking you, but you feel that they should? That's the first question. And the second question is, how can people work with you and where can they find you?
The second question is easy. I know you want the second question. So, okay, the first question, I said, what are people not asking, right? About you.
But they should be. Like, you know, you're like, "Oh, people don't know this. They should be asking this and they're not. What is that?"
Yeah, that is a good question. The question that people aren't asking is, how can I use YouTube as a tool to support my business? Because they're usually asking, well, how long should my video be? And do I really need to show up on camera?
How
And
do I grow on
can I
YouTube?
just do it like this? And
Yeah.
can I just like, it's very much of the tactics. Like people want to know the tactics, but the real question should be like, why and how can you use this to aid your business? Because that is the bigger question. Because if you just go, well, how long should my video be? And it's like, well, it doesn't really matter how long your video is if you don't have a strategy and you don't know why you're doing YouTube and what direction you're going to be going in. So you really need to know that first, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're just going to be noodling around and then you're like, well, YouTube doesn't really work for me. And it's like, well, that's not really true because YouTube has proven to work for many people with
big channels, small channels. It's just like you don't have your strategy yet.
Auret, would you have anything different to say?
This is a really great question, by the way. We've never had this question with
Yeah.
Deirdre, so I love it. What I would say is, I know I want to do YouTube. How can I do YouTube in a sustainable way that aligns with who I am and aligns with my goals for my business that I want to achieve? Maybe it could be your business or your brand, because that will start to create the constraints of like what you don't want to do. And, or maybe those are the things, what don't I want to do? Actually, that would be a better word of question. What am I not willing to do? I know I want a YouTube channel, but what don't I want to do? Because you might see other people out there, like, again, they're chasing certain trends, or they're being over the top charismatic. They're doing like expressions like that. And maybe that's not you, because a lot of these things you see, and then you let that stand in the way of you showing up. And what we're trying to communicate is there is a way to do YouTube that fits and aligns with you. It's not one way. Because I think a lot of people ask questions from the point of like, oh, what should the background be? How long should the video? It's a lot of shoulds. And there's no one perfect way of doing YouTube. It's the way is what's consistent for you. That's the way. What's going to allow you to consistently show up. So yeah, I think that question can be better worded, but something along those lines of how can I do it in a way that allows me to show up consistently and aligns with who I am?
Yeah, great answers, by the way. I love that. And it's so funny because, like, when people ask me these types of questions, all of the questions I've been asking you, people tend to ask me those about LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
it's so funny how closely aligned all of the answers are. They're so similar. It's a bit nuts, except for you don't have to do all the commenting conversations and all of the other stuff over on YouTube. I'm like, why do you think I'm going YouTube first, 2026?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second part of that question was, where can people find you? How can people work with you? And all of those bits. Tell us that.
Yeah. So if you want to check out our YouTube channel, it's where we create a lot of content. You just want to stay apprised of what we're up to. It's at Essetino Media is our handle. And our website is essitinomedia.com. So you can, check out what we have going on there and contact us that way. We do offer done for you YouTube services. So if you just want someone to do all the work for you and you just focus on what you do best, the filming piece of it, then we have a team that supports expert-based business owners with their YouTube channels to really make sure that their channel matches the caliber of their expertise. So there's that. And we also offer YouTube strategy consultation. So yeah, all of that information can be found on our website, essitinomedia.com.
Fantastic. So, folks, if you're in the market for some YouTube support, now you know where to go to get it. It's been such a pleasure having you both on the show. Thank you so much for all of your wisdom and wonderfulness. And we'll have to get you back for round 2.
Yeah,
sounds
ready
good.
for it.
Thanks
Thanks for
for-
having us, Deirdre.
Okay, wrap your brain around this, folks. The point of YouTube isn't to become a full-time content creator. It's to build a trust engine that keeps selling your expertise while you're off doing, like, literally anything else. And here are the takeaways you need to tattoo onto your business brain. One is that YouTube is an asset. It's a search engine. It's not a content platform. And sharing on there is not like posting on other platforms, because a great video can work for you for years beyond the day that you record it or even the day that you post it. 2, stop doing content week to week like a maniac. Batch it, plan it, film it, edit it, schedule it. 5 videos, 6 videos, get them done ahead of time. And when you have that done, it's going to change everything for you. Like, so much pressure gone. And number 3, don't hoard your gold. Give it away. People don't pay for information anymore because they can so readily get it on ChatGPT or whatever AI tool that they use. But what they do pay for is implementation, clarity, accountability, and definitely proximity. Okay, Auret and Jules' whole thing, their antiviral strategy is about building YouTube in a way that doesn't burn you out, doesn't box you into a niche that you end up hating, and doesn't turn you into a performance puppet just for the sake of an algorithm. It literally turns YouTube into a legacy building, revenue generating asset, period. Who the frick doesn't want that? Okay. Now, at the end of every episode, I usually give you one action step to take. So here's your move for today. I want you to pick one question that your best clients, the best ones, your favorite clients, if you had like more of those, you'd be like in your element. I want you to pick that one question that your best clients ask all of the time. And I want you to record a simple video answering it. You don't need a studio. You don't need to go down any type of a perfection spiral. You just need to answer the question clearly. And that's it. And if you want Auret and Jules' help with your YouTube or your content planning, connect with them via the links beneath this episode. And if you're also thinking, but Deirdre, okay, yes, YouTube sounds great, but I frickin' hate being on camera, well, then you're going to want to go and check out the perfect companion episode to go with this one. It's episode 126, all about how to overcome the fear of doing videos and show up confidently. And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's show, please give me a follow, subscribe, leave a review. And yeah, that's it. Until next time, keep mastering your business.